talk about all kinds of things today. You guys know the rules: no droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no sequel trilogy fans of any kind. Rogue One fans are tolerated because that was a decent movie. Mando, of course, anything John Favreau touches in Star Wars and Dave Filoni touches is fine by me. So let's get to it. So I watched the Gallery, Disney Plus BTS thing about the return of Luke Skywalker. And first thing you notice is this: Kennedy is barely in it and is given a pat on the head. And when you look at her being on a set, there's snow on the set. So when she visited Mando to the set, it looks to me like she was visiting the episode called The Passenger, where Dan lands on that planet after being chased by the X-Wings and is attacked by the spiders. And what I think is going on in that photograph is that was the set she visited. It's very interesting to me how subtle but blatant that all was. John's very nice about it, said he talked to her about it, but didn't directly say what it was. So I'm like going, well, she didn't know. She had no idea. Thank God, or everybody would have known. She would have done something to sink it. Okay? They have to appear like they like each other. They have to appear like they're congenial. And the reason is this: Disney doesn't like controversy, doesn't like instability. They like to pretend that everything is copacetic and everybody's happy and, sunshine and unicorn farts and rainbows and all the rest of that shit. We know that's not true. I mean, look, Disney for a long time has been a very tough company to work for. It's kind of like Amazon, where the lower level people, the people that actually run the parks and are there, the cast members, etc., don't get paid a lot. They get treated like crap. If you go to Amazon and you look around, same thing. My husband actually did think about becoming a manager at one of the warehouses here for Amazon. Hey, Matt Piranha. But I had never seen him. For the pay they get, okay, they get treated like shit. Same thing at Disney, all right? And the constant drama going on, especially now with a lot of the creatives. Let me explain. Kevin Feige isn't a creative. If he was, had any brain about how to write a story, he'd be a creative, and he's not. Okay, he's not. So he's having a hard time right now realizing and admitting that he's going to have to answer to somebody. I mean, look, in every business, if you are a department head, and really he's a division department head, just like Kennedy, they've never had to answer to anybody. They really haven't until now. And he can't stand it. Now, is this whole thing with Scarlett Johansson and the attacks on Bob Chapek tag team, an Avengers tag team, with Kennedy? It could be. Doomcock did say that there was a rumor out there that she desperately tried to get her contract extended and Disney said no. This looks to me like that rumor, and then we'll get into the rumor stuff as soon as I'm done talking about Favreau and the BTS thing, the gallery thing. That there's a rumor that she tried again, and Disney said no. And it looks to me that this rumor that was posted on Geekosity, and it is a rumor, it was couched as fact, and I'm going to get into a double standard here because I'm really mad right now. Really, really up to here. Okay. Was something from either Feige's side or if Sutton actually does have contacts with Lucasfilm. And when I went over and looked to see what his scoops, let's put it this way, the scoops he gets from Lucasfilm aren't as strong as the ones from Marvel. And really, every one of those from Marvel, you could have said you saw them coming. So I'm like, and Brie Larson, everybody knew. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch, everybody knew. I mean, just no, just no. This is not a big deal. It's really not that big of. It's not like you got the secrets to an invasion of, the Japanese home island from China and posted it out there. Hey Jeremy, how you doing? I hope everybody in the chat's having a good morning. So, you can't couch a rumor and call it news, okay? You just can't. But anyway, watching the Mando BTS thing, the gallery thing, it made me realize that Jon Favreau is one of us, and Dave is one of us, and Peyton is one of us. Robert Rodriguez is one of us, okay? Brandon Wayne is one of us, okay? And Brandon Wayne is one of us. He wasn't interviewed, but just seeing him in the Mando thing, and you know when it's him because he's taller than everybody else, and he has that John Wayne walk. It's really interesting. That guy, you can tell who Mando is with a bunch of other Mandalorians dressed similarly, because the persona comes through the suit, and that is Brandon Wayne's doing, by the way. Brendan I really wish he was the one playing Mando, just not Pedro Pascal, the voice and the work, because it would be cooler. It'd be a lot cooler if it was him. But whatever. I mean, Pedro is Pedro, and we gotta live with him, and that's what they wanted. They wanted a name. That's what they got. All right. So anyway, it made me feel better about the direction that Star Wars is going. Now, John didn't say a word about they didn't say anything about a Luke Skywalker show, but they did talk a lot about deepfake and the technology they're using to put the characters we recognize on the screen again. My thing is, we are going to get to the point where we don't need to recast anybody. The kid they chose to play Luke looks enough like Mark Hamill anyway. And he's very much the same size. He's very much similar, not exactly alike, but he's very much similar. And that what they did with him, and then what Shamook was able to improve on. Why would you ever want to recast anybody? You have Harrison, you have Carrie, you have it was a Disney gallery, Star Wars gallery. Just go to season 2, and it's the second episode, and Doomcock brought up a very salient point, that they put this out now. They waited until today to put that out. I want you all to remember that, because that is a big deal. Okay? That is a very, very, very big deal in what's going on with the Kennedy thing. Now, I want you guys to know that I felt better after watching this. When Jon Favreau said, he basically said the thing that got him, and he started crying, was when R2-D2 rolled up. Because when he said when he was a kid, that was his favorite character. And it was really, oh yeah, Mexican Iron Man. I agree on that one. I really, really do. So I want to talk a little bit about this because I got kind of upset this morning. And it's not really good to upset Steph when she hasn't had all of her coffee. When is a rumor a rumor? It's a rumor no matter what. And most of us who talk about rumors say this is a rumor, take it with a grain of salt. I have said it, Doomcock says it in every video, Andre says it, they all say it. When is the news the news? When it's factual, when you can go verify it, when it's from a venerable publication like Variety, Deadline Hollywood, Hollywood Reporter, Forbes, or The Atlantic. Now, some people really do need things written for them on a blackboard for them to understand this is really going on. This is really happening. I don't. When that Atlantic article dropped, I sent it out, but I don't know if I'm the first one that sent it to Cameron and Andre or not, Andre and Tom or not. I read it and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? This is really happening. Because Script Doctor said, well, no, she's leaving when they start saying they're looking for a replacement. They're never going to do that. They're never going to do that. Why? Because they don't want to embarrass her. And any sort of news like that will get out to the fandom and we'll all start going nuts. Okay? They did it in the Atlantic article, basically saying the way forward for Star Wars is the Favreau verse, is the Filoni verse, not Kennedy. Without saying that she failed. They said she failed. She was mentioned in that article, which is enough to tell Hollywood and discerning people with subtle minds that the shit hit the fan. Okay? And it's over. The Civil War is over. Okay? That's the thing. We have to remember, and that is the news. It was I don't know if it was an editorial piece or an opinion piece, but it came from a publication that the elites read. I don't read it because I'm sorry, I can only take so much pretentious bullshit in my life. And yeah, it does, and you're right. Oh, it did? Interesting. Okay, Ink Mag. Okay, I'm gonna have to. That's a small business. Oh, a line not signed. Okay, that's the small business thing, right? I should start reading that. I started to read all the financial stuff just because it's beginning to get interesting to me. And it has for a long time now because you can look at the numbers and look at what people that actually do have control over these properties, which are the hedge fund managers and the investors. You can see what they're thinking if you look at what the business magazines and the financial magazines are saying. And yeah, I would say so. It isn't. Yeah, you're right. So that again, when you've got all these publications that are well known, well established, venerable, connected to the financial world and the media world, hey coffee with Corbin. When you have them all basically saying the same things, you have what I would call pretty good, if not direct evidence, substantial, not conclusive, but substantial evidence that things are changing at Lucasfilm and have. And then, of course, I've got my little thing where the sting I set up to get Pablo to say something. And he did. You guys remember that, right? He could have said anything. I did not expect him to do what he did. Not in the world. But when he told my little worker ant my guy, after 20 years, I have no plans and I don't know what hers are. I don't need it written in crayon for me to go, holy shit, he's done. Or he knows he's out the door or on the way out. Okay. And oh, by the way, she is too. If what I discerned from that little blurb in a tweet, I sent it to Doomcock. I said you could use this, show this to your contacts, to ask them what they think. I sent it to Andre and Tom and Cameron. It was unbelievable what he said. And when this rumor came out, couched as news because it wasn't listed as a rumor, I really got upset because it seems like there's a double standard for some people. Some people can say whatever they want, be it Indy 5 or Kathleen Kennedy, and it can be a rumor, but they don't need to say it's a rumor. But if it's me or Doomcock or somebody else, it is a rumor. And if we say anything, if we don't couch it that way, we get stomped on. Okay, that makes me mad. Okay, I don't like that. All right. I have always tried to make sure people knew this is a thing that is out there. I can't verify it. But when I say I think I'm going to take this seriously, it's because of Inc. It's because of Business Insider. It's because Variety, Forbes, and Atlantic. Okay? There's a reason why I'm looking at some of this and saying, I believe it's true. It's because of what Pablo Hidalgo said on Twitter. I have the tweet. The moment I saw it, I screenshot it. All right. Now, this is what I think is going on with him. He said in his public thing, somebody asked him a question and he said, we don't have any projects on the slate right now at all. So what I think is going on is the story group has nothing to do. All is going on that side is they're desperately trying to get PR and marketing up for the High Republic. All right, there's probably a mark they need to hit, and they're not gonna. Like I said, after seeing what I've seen at Ollie's, again, all anecdotal to my area of the country, I think we're gonna be seeing High Republic books at Ollie's within a year or two, probably 2 years. It took them 3 years for that Soilo stuff to show up. Okay. The reason why I say this is because look at how badly the High Republic is selling just on Amazon. Now, New York Times their editorial board, their best-selling board, hey Dave, that board is an editorial. They don't count what's really selling. Okay, what they do is they pick and choose what they're going to call a bestseller. That is all. Oh yeah, Maze, you're right. Good morning, Valiant Renegade. That is all they do. You go to Amazon and you have the list. You have how much this sold and how much that sold. At least Bezos makes sure that people know where those books really stand. And I have never seen a High Republic book in the top 200 when it came out. Okay, now today, I might end up, if I don't, I'll go tomorrow, go to Target again just to wander through and see what they've got and see what's going on there. But as far as selling those books, they're not going. I mean, I'll tell you something. I'm standing there in Target looking for this so I can buy it. There's those long poster boxes. There's one that the aisle's like this. On one side, near an end cap, there's a box on the outside. You see Grogu on The Mandalorian. One poster left. On the other side, you see sequel trilogy, and it's about half full. All right, that's telling. That's really telling. You look at the books that were just published; they're still sitting there. You look at the books that have been that Claudia Gray's the first one. That book, or no, that was Kevin. That was Charles Soule. That book, or was it Claudia Gray? I think it was. I can't remember. That book is still there. That book. Then they put it out in paperback. It's like, why? Aged, I really think that there are people out there who feed on anger. It's like floating to the dark side. Claudia Pig, Maze. They feed on anger, but it's also a business decision for a lot of people. If I know, but it's too funny. I mean, there's the snort for her. Anyway, now I can't stop laughing. It's a business decision, and I also think, have you guys ever seen the Family Guy? Wile E. Coyote catches the Roadrunner, and then he has nothing left to live for. It's also kind of like that. When she's gone, what are they going to be upset about? Okay, there are a lot of people. Well, it was funny, Maze. What can I do? There are a lot of people out there that really need that. All right. It's kind of like when the Cold War ended, Berlin Wall came down, Soviet Union broke up. Everyone's just kind of staring at each other going, okay, now what? All right. Because for what, 70 years, we had a huge enemy. They were they were a respectable enemy. The Russians were a respectable enemy, but they were still an enemy. And it's almost like the country, needed an enemy to validate itself. And I really honestly think that when she goes, be it in October or they give her a short extension to finish Indy 5, because I just heard this. The cinematographer for Indy 5 is Greek. He's coming back to England and filming is going to start again. What I think happened, and I would not put it past her, is that they decided to put filming on hiatus for 3 or maybe a month. With the excuse to give Harrison time to heal up. The guy was riding around on a bicycle 2 weeks after it happened. Again, after getting launched off a horse, really battering my shoulder and popping my arm out of its socket, my elbow out. When I was 15, I find it hard to believe he was hurt that bad if he's riding a horse or a bike on those cobblestones in London. Because I've been to London. And those streets are not, and those roads are old and they're not easy to maneuver on. And I've worn, heels like that there, going out to dinner. So I'm, it's not comfortable to walk. I can't imagine the jarring you get on a bicycle. Okay. So I'm like, I don't know if he's really that hurt. My opinion, and maybe the whole thing, the hiatus thing, was also the studio and insurance company, because I really do think they played a big part. This is a theory of mine, so don't take this as fact. But I think the insurance company that underwrote the production, because every movie, every TV show is underwritten by an insurance company. I think they said, we don't want him to film or be near the set until the doctor feels like he can. Okay, so they film a bunch of stuff in northern England. They go on hiatus. They come back to London and film at Pinewood. Now, I know for a fact they're going to be filming into October because there was an Italian newspaper account and it was a horrible translation. I probably would have understood it better if it had just been in Italian. That there were a bunch of different places. She's admitted, or I can't even, I just read that, that they're going to be filming in a bunch of different places in Sicily. I'm wondering if they were supposed to film in Morocco. I don't know. This is, but so if Kennedy ends up getting a contract extension, it'll be short so they can finish up Indy 5 and then she can go away on her parade float with her awards and her accolades and all the money. And, Dave Filoni's sitting there like this, not unlike an Irish seaside village after the Vikings left. I'm not kidding. Because, again, I go back to a very solid piece of evidence. What Pablo said on Twitter. All right, I'm going to put that on the community page so you can all look at it. After 20 years, I have no plans, and I don't know what hers are. That is compelling evidence that there's something going on. Does it mean he was thrown under the bus? More than likely, yes. Does it mean that she's leaving? And I don't know what hers are? He might not know. I do think, after looking at some of the stuff, oh yeah, I mean, I agree. Doomcock and the guys had a point. If Kennedy stays, even for a little bit, to finish up Indy 5, it's going to look really bad for Disney. Because the very fact that she's still there hurts the brand because the fans hate her so much. Yesterday, I got into a huge argument on the Indiana Jones Facebook page. It's a fan page because some troll goes, I don't understand why people hate Kathleen Kennedy so much. You're obviously not a Star Wars fan, and obviously really doesn't give a shit about how the franchises are handled. All right? And again, I mean, she triggers me. She pisses me off. I see her and I get pissed off. The whole mythology built around her, most powerful woman in Hollywood. The first woman to run a studio. Both are bullshit. Let me explain. I said this yesterday. There were women when the motion picture camera was invented by Thomas Edison that actually were directors. In fact, I believe the first movie director was a woman. Okay? They were writers. Well, that too, Valiant, but people aren't going to buy it. People aren't going to buy that. Disney. No, she doesn't. And here's the thing, okay? She still would be there. She could still cause trouble. And as long as she's there, the big wish of so many to get Gina back isn't going to happen. Oh yeah, well, yeah. I understand that, and I've actually thought of that, and the interesting thing here, Iger has a Twitter account. Bob Chapek does not. Okay, the people that have caused the so-called fans out there, the fans, like, all right, I'll call them out. Star Wars Explained, Hello Greedo, Jason Ward, Steele Saunders. I mean, there's a plethora of shell fakes. You know, Brian Young, and their minions like that, regarding Ripley or rewriting Ripley. They'll shit. But again, Chapek doesn't have a Twitter account, and there's probably a good reason for it. It's a ridiculous thing to take seriously because it's not real. When you can go on there and buy bots and cause, fire Gina Carano to trend, and the people that are reporting it aren't going, well, are these bots or are these real accounts? They just run with it. That says a lot about how phony Twitter is. Be very aware that Chapek knows that. He doesn't need Twitter to tell him Star Wars is failing. All he's got to do is look at the books. That is a bigger indication than anything. Oh yeah, they're not. They had to mention her. They had to. The fact that he alluded to the fact that he talked to her about Luke is probably, they made it look like he was saying that. The fact they show her on the set and it's not the set that Mark was on. It's the set called The Passenger in the Snow. It's very interesting to me seeing that right now. What's very interesting also is the fact that they had planned this since 2018. That's when Mandalorian was announced. They had planned this since 2018 to do this. So again, that goes back to the theory I have that these changes had started back then. That the moment Soilo turned into a disaster area of biblical proportions, they had to do something. And the rumors running around that Iger was looking for somebody to replace her, and that they could. I mean, I remember Craig Johnson telling us that no one wanted to come in and take the job because Lucasfilm was a cesspool. And yep. And they did not want to come in and take over in the middle of this gigantic dumpster fire called the sequel trilogy. They didn't. I mean, the rumor was they approached JJ. Thank God he didn't take it. They approached Chris Nolan, and he said no way. No, I mean they were like no, because you're going to have people like Pablo throw a wrench in everything you're doing no matter what. And the company really did have to be restructured. Contracts had to run out and these people had to move on. Part of what I think is going on with Pablo is that they're not extending his contract either. Okay. It's very complicated to fire people. But after what Pablo did to Star Wars Theory, and it really wasn't just a fuck you to us, to him, Star Wars Theory is a fuck you to all of us. Everybody. Oh, I think so too. I think Sengupta may stay as like the CFO, and Filoni kind of runs the creative, and they're probably going to have somebody above them. Again, it's not that KK doesn't have any power. It's what can she do on the way out to throw a wrench into what, I mean, basically making it public that they weren't going to hire Gina back because they didn't fire her. They didn't hire her back, or basically said they weren't. Was a you to Favreau because ultimately Gina wasn't the target. It's Jon Favreau. Okay. I just said in Loki's chat today too because I was because again the double standard. This guy can use a rumor, call it news, and everybody runs around like a chicken with their heads cut off. But it's still a rumor. But if I did that, I would get stomped on. Doomcock did that. He would get stomped on. He gets stomped on even when he does says, this is a rumor. Okay? I don't really care for that. Because, first off, Variety, when they said, and well, I think the thing is a lot of these people who really believe that nothing is going on there, etc., etc., don't read the news. They don't read the news. In order to understand what's going on, it's just like me opening up Oh, awesome. That's great. It's like me opening up Roll Call or The Hill, Capitol Hill newspaper, and reading an article about the speaker. It's not what the article says that's important. It's what it doesn't say. And, well, Mad Piranha. All right. Cameron showed up in my chat a couple of evenings ago and said something very interesting. And it gets into a very seedy part of Hollywood, but I do think it's true. That she might have blackmail stuff on Iger, maybe on Spielberg, maybe on, whoever. But he basically said that she was probably told, if you do that, you're okay. I'll give you an example why I think this actually might have some veracity. Do you guys remember the reporter whose car blew up in the 401? He was very leaning left reporter, but he took his job seriously and really went out of his way to actually get to the heart of a matter. Doug, an Edward R. Murrow kind of guy. And he got his hands on something that when you read what he was saying in his tweets, basically saying that when this gets published, it's going to change the world. And then he's dead. His car blows up. What could that have been? Forward to Andrew Breitbart. He posts something and says, I have some information. It basically says the same thing. A few days later, he drops dead of a heart attack. Now, granted, Andrew, God bless his soul, had a lot of health issues, but is in his early 40s. Not that people don't die of heart attacks in their early 40s, but it was a little weird. The guy that I was connected to at Breitbart, Mike Flynn, who I loved. He was a real reporter. And he was such a great guy. And he woke up in the morning, and beautiful young wife woke up in the morning, was in the bathroom, and dropped dead of a heart attack. That's it's these guys get themselves in a situation they don't know anything about. What I think that they had their hands on, and I'm not saying Mike did, but what I think Andrew because Andrew basically destroyed the career of a guy who was at least going to be mayor of New York, if not governor of New York, and maybe had designs on the White House. Andrew Breitbart did that to Anthony Weiner. I think they got their hands, him and that other reporter, the one that died in the blown up car, got their hands on something very, very, very dangerous. There's a movie on YouTube called Open Secrets. And it barely scratches the surface of the really bad crap that goes on in Hollywood with kids. Now, during the presidential election of 2012 or 2016, a lot of really weird satanic stuff was uncovered. There's a woman named Marina Umbravovic. She's from Eastern Europe somewhere. I can't pronounce her last name. She is a so-called performance artist. She does a performance art thing, and she's done it in New York, she's done it in LA. Lots and lots of famous people show up. Called spirit cooking. And when you look at that, it's a cake. They don't use a real body, but it's a cake of a dead young person, a woman in her late teens, early 20s, or a young man, same age. And it's made of a cake, but it's really weird. A lot of that stuff came out on the surface. There's a lot of really weird things the elites are into. In fact, I remember asking out loud about why are they so weird? Why are they so weird? To my dad one day when I was a kid, and my dad said, "Wealthy people don't have anything else to do. They're bored. They get bored. They have so much money. They don't have anything to do. They don't have any. They have all this time on their hands, and idle hands are bad." Okay. What I think Breitbart got his hands onto is something that was very, very dark and gross. And I think that reporter that was killed in the explosion, I think he had it too. I think they had their hands on something that if it ever came to the public, a lot of these elites, if you guys remember Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick died right before it came out. A lot of these elites are into some really weird sick shit. Now, I'm not going to name names because, we know who Steven Spielberg is. We know who Tom Hanks is. They're not the ones, because they're bored, aged boomer. They're bored. And they don't, it's like Palpatine, and it's like, no, it's like Darth Vitiate. It's like Valkorion. I want to live forever. Okay? That's what it is. They can't take it with them, and they want to. But let me finish. Now I forgot my point. It is very interesting to me. All right, no. And it's not Spielberg. Oh yeah, you're right, Maze. It's not Spielberg. It's not Hanks. It's not any of those guys. It's the people behind them. I think the one famous person that I would honestly look at and go, two of them, you guys are going to go, okay, I get it. Barbra Streisand and Oprah Winfrey. Barbra Streisand has said some really disgusting things about a certain group of perverts. Oprah has been accused outright. Now, you could say, well, you're not giving them a break when you give Spielberg and Hanks. That's because of this. I call it the Bing Crosby effect. Bing Crosby used to beat up his kids. Then the family that he had after his wife Dixie died says he never did that to us. And then the oldest son comes clean and says, no, our dad never did that. You discover his wife was mentally ill. She was an alcoholic. The boys that accused Bing of all that were also mentally ill and addicts. See? Joan Crawford, Mommy Dearest. You discover Christina lied about all of that. It's the Bing Crosby syndrome, the Joan Crawford syndrome. You can't keep up a lie, especially if you when you pass away. There are people left that actually know the truth. Maria Riva, who is the daughter of Marlene Dietrich, hated her mother. All right, Dietrich was a narcissist. But when I see and I read the way she made sure her kid was okay, to the point where her daughter got married, she was on a honeymoon with her new husband. Marlena shows up dressed as a washerwoman to clean her entire apartment. Again, you get an old crowd lady and you got a mess on your hands. Guess who's going to clean up that mess? She is, and she's not going to stop until it's clean. They're crazy that way. Okay, I mean, it's like, I'm sure, she'd go nuts if she saw my kitchen right now. But that's what they do. Now, I have a hard time believing that Dietrich treated her daughter so badly if she shows up at her apartment in New York to clean it. Okay, you don't do that if you don't care. I mean, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll find out later that, Riva just, it's the I hate my parents syndrome. They weren't, in my opinion, fair to me. I've seen this in my own family. And I'm going to make up stories about them. My oldest sister makes up stories about her mother that aren't true. It's, my mom was a pain in the ass, all right? But the things that my oldest sister said that she did weren't true, okay? But I'm telling you right now, whatever Breitbart and that other reporter whose name I can never remember had would have probably stopped the world, okay? And it's never ever come out. Breitbart.com, Alex Marlowe, and the rest of them haven't said a word about it. And I know they know what it is. They have to. I don't think Andrew would have gone to his grave with, a flash drive in his hand going, I'm taking it with me. All right. Anyway, I want to get back to the KK thing. Again, all that is speculation. I don't know. But it's very odd that they both died in a similar way. So, does KK have anything on anybody? Probably. Will she use it? No. Did she have anything on JPEG? There's nothing on JPEG. She has nothing. If she could have used it, she would have. Right? Anything on Iger? Probably. Is she going to use it? No. Why? Because she was told and warned, don't you dare. Okay? Now, is there anything on her? You bet your sweet Bibby. All right? They've all got stuff on each other. But you never see it come out because it comes with the stipulation. If you try to blackmail us, okay? All right? And I believe that. I really, really do. But again, there are people beyond those we know that are the true powers in Hollywood. When you got Bryan Singer fleeing to Great Britain because if he comes back here, he's going to get arrested for that's a big deal. But he's a little frog. What else is going on? What else? And this is where the KK thing kind of goes into a whole place that you really are like, yuck. Okay, this is creepy. But is she going to stay? We will know by September. The fourth quarter, Disney's fourth quarter, ends I think around September 16th. And then we will know. And I seriously doubt Chapek will announce anything again for Script Doctor. They already have said that they've been looking for someone to replace her. In fact, Kevin Feige was asked about it and said no, he's not. But the Atlantic article states the answer to that question. Are they looking for someone to replace her? Yes. Have they found him? Yes. There you go. Cue the crying chorus of shills. Okay. Now, are they going to replace a sequel trilogy? First off, you got to think. Again, use your brain. You've got the World Between Worlds, Ahsoka showing up. If Ahsoka doesn't show up, if Ahsoka is not there to tell Din, Jaren where to take the kid, Luke doesn't show up. Okay? And the kid's gone. Forever. They're not going to get it. They weren't going to get out of that mess without Skywalker. They just weren't. So you got that. You got Luke showing up. That in of itself is a big change to canon. Him taking Grogu, which is a conjunction of George Lucas's name. It's like naming my dog Kojak. Mommy's name is Coco, daddy's name is Jackson. Kojak. Okay. Grogu is George Lucas. All right. Luke taking Grogu is a change in canon, a huge one. Because Grogu suddenly becomes Luke's first Padawan. Because it's within the timeline 5 years after, Return of the Jedi. Luke supposedly takes Kylo Ren as his Padawan. No, he took Grogu. Hey Ghost Rider, he took Grogu. That's a change in canon. All right. So are they going to change the sequel trilogy? What they'll probably do, and it's been said before, but I'll say it again, and then I'm going to rock, because it's almost time for Midnight's Edge. And Cameron's going to be on there, so you better watch. It's probably going to go into an alternate timeline. Never to be seen again. The people who liked it will have it, and they can do whatever they want. Hey, Red October. Hey, Baz, how you doing, man? They can do whatever they want when they watch it. But there's nowhere to go with it. There's a rumor out there that they want to do a Finn spinoff. See, we were told stuff like that would come out the closer we got to October. Ridiculous rumors like that. They're not going to do that. Boyega will never come back to Star Wars. It's too late. And I'm going to say something. What are you going to do with the character that has nowhere to go? Rey doesn't have anywhere to go. Kyle Ron is dead, thanks be to God. Hopefully, barbecuing his nuts in hell. What little walnut-sized yarbles he's got. They can't take it anywhere. They can't take it anywhere. They know this. And they know, here's the deal. Go and watch Star Wars Gallery, Season 2, the second episode where they talk about Luke. There's absolutely no way Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to let any of that be. They're fans. They're like us. You cannot trust Dave Filoni, I don't care. But when you watch him talk about how happy he was to see John and Peyton and everybody on the set that was on the set when they saw Mark dressed in his Jedi robes with Grogu, They are us. We have fans creating Star Wars now. Star Wars, after watching this, I feel is in good hands, regardless of if Kathleen Kennedy stays or not. But if she stays, you can expect more bullshit. She won't have any power over it, but she'll cause trouble. She'll cause trouble because that's what she'll do. You know, the Eye of Sauron and everything. Anyway, I gotta go. I will see you guys all later. I'm gonna grab something to eat, and I'll see you around the galaxy. Remember, get to Midnight's Edge, because they're gonna start pretty soon, and Cameron's gonna be on there, and it's gonna be awesome. And we'll get a little bit of logic and a little bit of rationality behind this rumor, because that's what it is. And I am not treating this rumor as anything but a rumor. Okay? Again, there's a double standard here and it pisses me off. This is Steph, signing out. See you around the galaxy.